Hello, guys, and welcome to the Legendary Ladies podcast. And today we are celebrating Christmas by doing holiday movies, top 5 holiday movies. This was actually Amy's idea, but she could not be on. So
Amy.
instead, she is hopefully going to post her top 5 on Patreon, though. So become a Patreon member. We like doing special episodes on there. You get to watch live and comment live on the video, so and on the audio version. It's fun, a fun little community. We actually have 2 people watching now from Patreon, so we just started. But check out the Patreon if you want to hear Amy's top 5 Christmas movies. But I'm gonna say I'm actually not a huge fan of Christmas movies. I don't have a lot of favorites, so this is a really tight list for me. I'm not one of those people that watch like, oh, I got to get into the holiday spirit. I'll just watch a random movie, be
You're,
like, oh,
you're
I
like
want to get.
I'm just always in the holiday spirit. I don't need to get into the holiday spirit.
Exactly. I think, once Christmas comes around, you're like, Christmas is here. I'm in the spirit. But yeah, I don't love, I've just never been a big Christmas movie fan, but I think my top 5 fits me. So
Nice. I'm excited to find out what your top 5 are. That was gonna be how I opened it by asking, how you feel about Christmas movies because Mike and I were having a conversation where I said Christmas is the good season for music and
mhm.
Halloween is the good season for movies
I
because
I'll agree with that. Although I don't like Christmas music, but I could agree to that too.
What?
I'm just not a holiday spirit type
Oh,
gal. I know.
interesting.
But I could understand from a objective point of view, why you would feel that way.
I feel like if you were in a Hallmark movie, you would go to a small town and you would find love and the spirit of Christmas.
That's true.
You're
That is true.
setting yourself
Honestly,
you're setting yourself up for this
I
now.
am a protagonist of this movie. It's like, wait, you don't like the Christmas music either? Now that's taboo. Like, movie's fine, but the
Yeah,
music as
the
well.
movies I was going to allow. I was gonna be like, "That's fair," because I actually agree. But when you said music, I was like, "Oh my god."
Yeah, I'm just
Uh,
heartless.
you're the Grinch. Uh,
I was almost in my top 5. It
that was
wasn't though. I
that
didn't
was
make
close to
it.
mine. Yeah, it was funny because
Oh, it wasn't my top 5. So there you go. We'll talk
uh,
about it.
yeah, because I was like, yeah, like Christmas movie, there are these sort of classic Christmas movies, and there are like maybe like 20 of them, or maybe a little bit more. But outside of that, like the movies are either of the Hallmark variety, where again, Kat goes to a small town and
Yeah,
finds love in the
falls
true
in
meaning
love.
of Christmas, or like just not very good ones. Like it feels like once you get past that tiered list of like the ones we've all heard about, it gets dark in there. Like the Christmas movies options are very thin.
Yeah, and it's interesting. We were just talking about Halloween. Every year there's more horror movies that come out,
Yes.
especially now we're living in this kind of renaissance of horror movies. And yeah, it's interesting that they don't really do that for Christmas. They don't try making good Christmas movies. I mean, maybe some people say like Violent Night was great, and now they're making movies like Thanksgiving. So you have Thanksgiving movies, but I didn't
Yeah.
like Thanksgiving the movie, just letting you guys know. But yeah, no, it's interesting that you have the ones that you grew up as kid, like A Christmas Story or It's a Wonderful Life, and that's kind of it. And
It
then obviously Hallmark and Lifetime. Oh, and honestly, I do want to answer Danny. At least Hallmark Lifetime has started to include queer couples in their cheesy Christmas movies. Guess what? We're
guess what?
covering one of them.
Next week, get ready. We are going to be talking about, I still have it up in a tab, so I won't forget the name. We will be talking about Friends and Family Christmas, a movie name that sounds fake. It is
Does.
so generic,
It
but
sounds like an anthology movie. It sounds
it
like there's multiple couples in there, but there's just the one.
it really does. It goes on, I think it's Hallmark,
Yeah.
the Hallmark channel on Sunday. So we're gonna be bringing this our hot takes, fresh piping hot, because it's gonna have just aired.
Yeah, and you know what? If you guys like these, you guys loved when we did Happiest Season. So we were like, we want to do more of those, and we're gonna do some of those queer Lifetime Hallmark stuff. But
And
yeah, no,
we're glad that they're making the queer versions of these movies too, because, like, everyone should have their own trash, like, their own
that's
trash
true.
movies. I watched one for Supergirl Radio just the other day called The 9 Lives of Christmas that was
Oh,
about Brandon Routh, like, adopting a cat.
you won finally. You won that
I
poll.
got it. I was like, "Yes, I did it." Apparently there's a sequel, so I think we're gonna go
Mm.
down the, 9 Lives of Christmas cinematic universe. I'm pretty excited, but yeah, it's like I was watching it going like, "Yeah, I feel like you could almost write a Hallmark movie with just, like, Mad Libs."
Honestly.
Danny says, "I'm just glad, to watch a queer Christmas movie that isn't about coming out." That does seem nice, actually.
And I feel like Hallmark and Lifetime, that would be. I have not watched this movie yet, but I feel like that's their go-to. They don't want to talk about any drama.
They
They
don't
just
wanna
want
get
to.
into, like, potentially sensitive topics. They just want like, somebody needs to save a bakery, right? Like,
That's the
somebody
most
has
sensitive
to
topic you're gonna get.
somebody has to win the annual Christmas tree cookie contest or something. That's sort of what's gonna that is what I'm assuming we're about to see in Friends and Family Christmas. Now, watch, we're gonna turn it on. It's gonna be like a depressing movie about like like deep issues, and we're gonna be like, no, this is not what I want.
I would hope not that Hallmark. This is the first lesbian movie, but then also first sad movie.
Danny says, "Give me my butch lady Christmas tree farmer and the femme lawyer who is tired of the city."
That's all we want.
Exactly, exactly. When Kat goes to that small town.
I'm actually a lawyer in disguise,
We
or a farmer.
you didn't know this about Kat, but she's a
I'm
lawyer
both.
farmer, the very rare combination.
Who does not like Christmas movies and is
Yeah,
tired of the city
the
and
Christmas
farming?
movies, like, that's so funny that you brought up that, like, when we think about sort of the iconic, Christmas movies, I don't think any of them are younger than, like, 20 years old.
Besides, again, the Hallmarks and Lifetimes, no.
Yeah, besides the Hallmark and it doesn't and they do churn out new Christmas movies. I saw that there was some new one with, Eddie Murphy called, like, Candy Cane Lane because
That
it
doesn't
popped
sound
up on
good.
my Amazon Fire Stick, and it was like, Did you know about this movie?" And I was like, "Doesn't look great, doesn't look
I
great."
think Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds had one on Apple TV, Spirited or
Oh,
something,
yes, you're right, and
and who's talking about that?
no one's talking about I did not remember that happened until you mentioned it because I remember thinking last season, "Oh, maybe I should watch that," and then I didn't. I feel like, the Christmas movies that do get big sort of, like, enter the cultural consciousness where, like, we all know it.
Right.
Like,
Or it's so bad that you're like, "You gotta watch this one."
exactly, and, like, the lines become, like, quotable lines that everybody
Mm,
recognizes, or you never hear of it ever again. Like, there is, like, no middle ground with Christmas movies. Either it's an annual tradition we all love, or it came and it went and nobody ever talks about it again. It's so weird.
no, I agree. I think Christmas movies are a strange beast in general because of that. It's a genre that no one wants to enter.
No one feels prepared to enter the Christmas movie genre, I feel like.
Understandably.
So, how was the process of putting this list together for you?
Hard because I don't like Christmas movies very much. So I had to like look through lists and be like, well, what is considered a Christmas movie? Or some We Need to Die, Love Actually. I've seen Love Actually, don't like it. And maybe it's on someone's list out there,
Love
but I don't
Actually
like the movie.
is funny because it's one that I have, like, a lot of fond memories for,
Mm.
but it's also one I've heard ages not well at all, and so I haven't seen Love Actually in probably, like, 5 or more years,
Oh,
and
same. I haven't seen it since like college.
yeah, exactly, and I'm like, I feel like if I watched it again, I would be cringing through all of Love Actually, but because the last time I watched it was, like, 10 years ago, I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that movie's great."
Yeah, 2003. And honestly, I would say that's the most modern. Well, there's one I just remembered, and it's not on my top five because honestly, it probably would be number six. Like, actually, honestly, even if I didn't forget it. But The Holiday was that. I thought that was a pretty solid movie. And that's mostly because, like, as a kid, I'd watch it a lot. It's like an
Mhm.
ensemble kind of Love Actually film. But it's about this woman who like switches houses with another woman, and they like find love interest there. And I remember as a kid, I like that one a lot. 2006. That's like the most recent one I remember being like,
That
oh, that was a
really
decent
is the
movie.
the most recent. So it's funny that you mention it because that was almost my number 5, and it's one of my honorable mentions because I like that movie is so nice and cute,
Yeah, it's fun.
and, like, the soundtrack of it is really nice, actually. I used to, like, just listen to the soundtrack while I was working on things, but also, it was, like, one of those movies where as I was watching it, I thought to myself, why isn't Jack Black in more romantic comedies? Like, Jack Black is great in that movie. He's, like, so charming. I was like, they should put Jack Black in rom-coms.
He
Like, why
should
don't
be in more
they?
movies because
He should
honestly,
be
like
in
School
more
of
movies,
Rock,
period.
fun movie. School of Rock is a
Great
great
movie.
movie. Yeah, like he's likable. But yeah, no, I would say The Holiday is on my honorable mentions because I think it's something that A, obviously I forgot about it, so that's one. But then B, like I think it's a comfortable movie. I don't know if it's a great movie. I just think it's again a fond memory movie. I don't know if I'd watch it now and be like, wow,
I
that was
watched it, I
wonderful.
would say, like, a year or 2 ago because
Mhm.
Mike had never seen it, and I will say, The Holiday holds up. I was like,
Okay.
"Oh, I still like this movie. This is still a good, fun movie." I ended up deferring to movies that felt more Christmassy to me. That's kind of like what my list, Bunsen keeps moving my laptop screen around. He's just sort of reorganizing how this is gonna go. He's been very bossy during the live streams recently. So
I've seen.
that's fun. That's fun that he's popping up again. No, one of the things I was thinking about on my list was, how Christmassy is it? And like, should it be higher up? And I really started to question everything. I'd say my top 3 were locked in, and then 4 and 5 is where I kind of struggled.
I just thought of another movie, but I was like, is it even a Christmas movie? But like one of my favorite movies, honestly, maybe of all time, because I just think it's such a fun movie. And it's definitely one of my favorite rom-coms, is The Last Holiday. I've talked about it before.
Oh
Queen
my god,
Latifah's in it. But I don't know if it counts as a
Cat,
Christmas movie.
Cat, this is
uh-huh.
insane. Okay, so
Uh-huh.
as part of our holiday season, we like to
Mm-hmm.
like watch seasonally appropriate movies. So
Mm-hmm.
I gotta get rid of this cat. Hold on. Bunsen, I'm so sorry, buddy. You're just a menace right now. So
I could tell.
he just likes to chew the cords
That's pretty
of my
bad.
headphones, and it's not great. It's not great for the headphones or for the cat, so he had to go. But, no, so we put together a list of, like, holiday movies that we hadn't seen yet, because we were like, we're sick of watching, like, the same 10 Christmas movies. And on that list, because we looked up lists of, like, from, like, Entertainment Weekly, was Last Holiday, and I was
Great
like, "You
movie.
know what? For some reason," and now I'm connecting what the reason is.
I
I
talked about
For some reason,
it.
I've been wanting to watch this movie, like, "Let's watch this movie," and, it is a great movie. I enjoyed it a lot. It is ridiculous, but I feel like its inclusion on Christmas movie lists
It's not a Christmas
is
movie.
insane. It is not a Christmas movie. The fact that holiday is even in the title, and yet there's, like, really not a lot of holiday content is a real bait and switch.
I think because they like it's a more of a British holiday where like she's going on
She's going on
vacation.
holiday.
Yeah, she's going on holiday, but that's why I was like, I can't include this on the list because it's a great movie and it's one of my favorite rom-coms, but it's not a Christmas movie. And I think I've told you this story before, but I'll say it again. One of my favorite little edits of Last Holiday is Blast Holiday. So there's this, you can look it up on YouTube. I've definitely talked about this. But when I was in high school, I saw the movie and then we're just searching on YouTube and Blast Holiday comes out. Like, what's this? And this person who deserves an Oscar in editing edited fart noises throughout the movie, and the comedic genius, like when she's in the because she works in the cooking section
Yeah.
of like this department store, so she talks about smelling things a lot. So she'd be like, "You smell that? Smells like my mama's home cooking," and it's just a fart noise.
That's really good. I'm so glad that that exists. Thank God for the internet. What would we do without the internet?
That's like pre TikTok, but it's just one of. I think that's why I like Last Holiday so much because I just very much enjoy Blast Holiday,
Bless holiday.
and I just think it's so good. I want to see if it's still on here
That's too funny.
on YouTube, but yeah, no, it's a lot of fun, and no, but the movie in general is really good. But don't call it a Christmas. Oh, here it is. The Last Holiday Fart, it's called now. It's not called The Last Holiday. Not called
Blast
Blast
Holiday is
Holiday.
so much better.
It is.
They should not have rebranded that way.
They shouldn't. I don't know what happened over the years in YouTube land, but I recommend it. I'll share it in the comments, guys. So if you want to watch Blast Holiday, it's there. But just know it's not called Blast Holiday anymore. It's called Blast Holiday Fart. And I'm not a fart joking person. So if you got me on a fart joke, then you know it's good.
Well, I'm excited to watch this after we wrap recording. This is going to be my new annual Christmas tradition is putting on Blast Holiday.
I'm excited, honestly. You know what? Maybe we'll do a small Patreon just for you guys, and I'll have Morgan's live reaction of Blast Holiday. I think that's what we'll do. So get
Amazing.
ready.
Okay, so I think that with that, without further ado, I feel like we should get into our list. So, Kat, why don't you start us out with our number 5?
The Grinch. We talked about it. The reason it's on here is, and this is the live action version. I'm not talking about the
Okay, so like the
cartoon
Jim Carrey version, not like the
because it's
cartoon guy.
so bad. It is such a bad movie that it's kind of fun.
Okay. Just you like
Yeah.
Christmas movies so much that in your top 5 all-time Christmas movies
Yeah.
was a so bad it's good movie.
Because most people that hate Christmas, I don't hate Christmas. I just hate Christmas movies. I enjoy the day. But most people don't like Christmas movies, don't want to get in the Christmas spirit. They'd be like, yeah, well, the cartoon of the Grinch is fine. No, I'm going to go so far and not even say the good, because look, the cartoon of the Grinch is good. It's a good movie. Like it's fun. It's short.
Yeah,
But
it
this
is.
live action version is bad. It is so funny. I just the hairstyles, the makeup,
Cindy
everything
Lou
about
Who,
it.
like little
Yeah.
hairstyle that goes straight up in the air. Yeah.
The trailer, it looks almost like a creepy pasta nightmare. Um,
I feel like
it
you could cut that trailer in a different way where it's like, watch out for the Grinch. And it's just like
Gas Holiday,
crazy looking
Gas
Jim
Holiday.
Carrey. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't remember the movie very much because it's been a long time since I've seen it. But when I was thinking, what brings me joy when I'm thinking about it, it's the Grinch live action movie.
Because it's so bad, it's good.
Yeah, but I'll never watch it again.
What if for years from now you watch it and you go, "Oh my god, was the Grinch great?"
I don't see a reality.
What if there's a Grinch renaissance? You don't know, Kat.
Maybe, but I just see the girl's hairstyle. I really do see like
Straight up
I
in
see
the
the
air.
little things in that movie, and I'm like, I don't see a reality where this movie was good. Like, is there a twist in the movie that I forgot? Like, oh, actually, none of it was real. I'm like, oh, that was a great twist, I guess.
It was all a dream. What if they remake The Grinch, but it's just like an M. Night Shyamalan movie where there's just like a big twist at the end?
I would see it in theaters.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I'd be
would
like, "Oh,
definitely see it. I don't
we
know if
gotta
I'd see it
know."
again though. I would only see
You
it the
just
one
see it
time
once. You're like,
Be-
"This is all I have for you."
because I know the twist. So
Oh yeah, because then what do you need? What do you need the movie for? You have the twist. You have what you
exactly.
wanted. That is a great number 5. I'm very
Strong.
happy about it. Strong.
Look, Amy wanted us to do this topic and she's not here.
Strong choice. It is very funny that it was Amy's idea and then she wasn't here. Well, I think that's also it's also funny because my number 5 is Elf. And I know that
Oh,
Amy has like a deep and abiding hatred for this
I do
movie.
too. I
Okay,
actually,
you do too.
I
Okay, good. I was like,
literally, really,
I'm
really hate this movie. I
so
think I told you
excited.
the story that the first time I saw this movie was on a bootleg, and the lips didn't match the whole entire time I watched the
Well, that
movie.
wasn't the movie's fault.
But I always left a bad taste in my mouth. But I hate that movie.
Unfair to blame on the movie.
Look. I've only seen Elf once, and it was on that bootleg, and I'll never
Wait,
watch
wait
it
a
again.
minute. So wait, you've only seen it the one time where
One
the lips
time.
don't match.
Why would I watch it again?
I feel like
I don't like Christmas movies.
I feel like maybe you're not giving Elf a fair shake.
I
but
think I
okay.
did. In second grade, I watched the bootleg, and that's all I needed.
You're like, you know what? I'm good.
Yeah.
Well, Elf was my number 5, and I think it sort of stands to sort of underline what we were talking about earlier, which is that I feel like Elf was the last like big iconic Christmas movie that like everybody talks about and everybody likes. Elf turned 20 this year. Like,
Oof.
I feel like nobody's really made a Christmas movie that has become, like, on the list of Christmas movies that people watch every year since Elf.
Yeah.
Like, maybe The Holiday, I think, that was
The holidays
2006.
close, but
The
also I don't
Holiday's
know if
close.
everyone knows about it. I feel like it's a very
That's
specific
true.
time. I think if you were around in 2006 and you liked movies and you were like conscious, then you probably
Yeah,
know of the
then you
holiday.
probably know but The
But if you're
Holidays,
like 10 right now and you don't know the holiday,
that's true, but you probably know Elf.
you definitely know Elf. Well, I went
Yeah.
to like a Christmas parade and Elf was one of the people there. So like people know Elf.
Yeah, I just think I mean, Will Ferrell, I think, is really funny in the movie. I think the premise is really funny that he, like, comes from, he is a grown elf because he's, like, actually a human being that ended up in Santa's workshop, and then he meets his dad and has to, like, essentially learn how to live in the human world. I think that they did, like, a good fish out of water story with him, and that he did
But
a
do you
really
like Will Ferrell? Because I think that's always what I'm against that movie.
I
I don't
think
like Will
that's
Ferrell.
I think that's think that the movie probably does live and die by whether or not you find Will Ferrell funny, and
Mhm.
I do, for the most part. I mean, I've definitely seen movies where I'm like, didn't
I
care for
recently
it."
saw Anchorman, and I thought that was one of the worst movies I've seen in a
You know
really
what
long
is
time.
so funny is that I probably saw Anchorman, like, in the theaters or something.
Right.
I saw Anchorman, like, a long time ago, and I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was, like, the funniest movie I've ever seen. And then I saw, like, bits and pieces of it recently, and I was like, "Huh,
Didn't age well, let me tell you
okay,
that.
okay, okay."
I saw it on a plane, like, a few months ago, so I'm like, everyone
Ah.
talks about Anchorman. I was like, "This is a good plane movie," and I hated
I
it.
feel like those early 2000s comedies that, like, everybody was obsessed with
Quotes.
aged worse than we think about it. Like, there was a couple of years ago, I wasn't feeling good. I was, like, at a wedding. I was at like, waiting to go to a wedding, so it was out of state. We were in the hotel and Wedding Crashers was on. I was like, "This is so great. This is so appropriate for what we're doing."
Mhm.
And we put it on, and I was like, "You know what? I remember this movie being funnier."
I've
It's
never
like one
seen
of
it.
those. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, I think go in with the moderate expectations. It's
Maybe on a
okay.
plane, I'll watch it.
Yeah, on a plane, that's a great plane viewing, but yeah, I think that, like, there was, like, a whole period of movies where it was, like, Old School um, and, like, Wedding Crashers and Anchorman, where I feel like if you watch them now, like, maybe humor has changed a little bit or,
Or
like,
even the
I mean.
stoner movies, like the Step Brothers and stuff like that. I
Oh,
don't find
yeah.
those very funny.
I finally watched Step Brothers, like, a couple of years ago 'cause
Mhm.
I had never watched it, and I was like, "Oh, everybody says it's so funny," and that was kind of what I came out of that movie going like, "It was alright, it wasn't actually that funny." Like,
Right.
all the funny parts are, like, the parts you've already seen. If, like, you've seen, like, the "Did we just become best friends" thing, yeah, you're good, you got it. You got the movie. I mean, and
Yeah.
not all of the movies from that time period, like, didn't age well. I think Elf, aged well, although I haven't watched it in a couple years, so maybe I shouldn't have put it on the
I re
list.
I recommend the bootleg, honestly. I it's a really it's
You gotta if you're gonna watch Elf, you gotta start with the bootleg. The mouths aren't going in time with the dialogue, good, that's how it's supposed to
if you're
be.
a little nauseous, you're watching the correct Elf.
You're watching the Criterion Collection of
Yeah.
Elf.
That's what I heard is that they actually used that version when it went into the Criterion Collection, that
I'm sure it is. It's
yeah.
like, "You know what? No, it's the uneasy feeling that it gives you. That's part of it."
Because you know, how he's
That's
really
the
tall, you wanna feel like him.
you
You
wanna
wanna feel
feel
like
the
a fish.
disorientation. It's
Yeah.
the auteur version of Elf.
You know, if you sold it to me that way, I'd give it another star.
You're like, "You
I
know
think
what?
I'd
Maybe I was too harsh." I really hope that at some point we can have Amy on to just, like, go down her list of why she hates Elf because she feels very strongly about it, and I'm
I
very
think she
sad that
doesn't
she
like Will
wasn't on.
Ferrell.
I think that's what it is. I think she
Yeah.
like, his performance in that was, like, too over the top for her, which is like
Again,
what
you live and die with
yeah.
Will Ferrell.
Yeah,
I
if you
can't
like
find one
Will
movie I
Ferrell
liked.
yeah, if you like Will Ferrell, then this movie is probably great. If you don't like Will Ferrell, you don't think he's very funny, this movie's maybe gonna be a little grating for you because he's
He
doing his full
produces
Will
good
Ferrell thing.
movies. He
does.
produced like Lego Movie. That was great. Love Lego Movie.
Oh, yeah, all the Lego movies have
Yeah.
been really good.
Yeah.
They should make
So
a
like,
Lego Christmas movie.
maybe I'd watch that. It'd be like Lego Batman.
Yeah, but with Christmas.
Yeah, it'd
Santa could
also
be
be the
the
boot.
main
It
character.
would be the bootleg version, and they just like put
Oh, their
antlers on
mouths are
people.
just off a
Yeah.
little bit in the Lego Christmas movie. Okay, Kat, what's your number 4?
It's actually a gay movie that no one's heard of because I randomly watched it. It's called Looking for Her. And okay, I'm gonna go down a rabbit hole.
Okay,
So
I need
get ready.
way more context
Look it
for this.
up. So look up Looking for Her. So
Okay.
there's this movie I watched on Amazon Prime when I was bored called
This is
City
from,
of the
like,
Trees.
last year?
Yeah, well, get
Okay.
ready. So
Okay,
Amazon,
okay.
there's the
Take
Amazon Prime movie
take
is
me on this
yeah,
journey.
yeah. So Amazon Prime movie I'm talking about came out, let's see. I'm gonna look up this girl's name. So City of Trees came out in 2019.
Okay.
And it kind of is similar to the elf thing, where I watched on Amazon Prime and I thought the story really was really fun. It was kind of like a romance novel where this girl goes home, she meets this girl that was her childhood friend, they reconnect, and it was like a really fun story. But the audio was so bad. Like they didn't mix it correctly. Like
Oh,
things are ruffling in
no.
the background. And I'm like, oh, I wish this was like better made because it was like kind of a fun movie. Like you can
Yeah.
kind of tell it's someone's first movie. Because Amazon Prime, you just kind of watch it. But this movie was from the same director, same actors,
Okay.
and it had better sound. So I was like, oh, this is what I wanted that other movie to be.
I gotta be honest, like, if you had told me that so much of this, Christmas list was gonna have to do with sound mixing quality, I would not have believed you.
I didn't know until I started talking that this was a big
Thematically,
point.
what holds it together is the sound quality.
And honestly, I can't say the other three are the same. I wish they were. I wish that there was a theme throughout. The other three, I genuinely just like those movies, but it was really hard to pick a top 5. So, but yeah, let's read the description. So, Looking for Her is Taylor is headed home for the holidays, and her family is finally ready to meet her girlfriend Jess. The only problem is Jess isn't really her girlfriend. Taylor holds open auditions for someone to play the part for the holidays. It's a romance novel made as a movie. It was fun and the audio was correct. So I like that.
Nice. I mean, it does sound like basically every Hallmark movie I've ever seen because
Yeah,
there's
but it
always
was
like
gay.
the fake dating. Fake dating is a huge romance trope. And I think people like it for a reason, which is that it's ridiculous and it's also fun.
Yeah, no, it
So,
was a fun. I
I
remember
mean, I feel
watching
like
it and be like, I had a good time.
you might be selling me on this because I'm like, you know what? After watching the 9 Lives of Christmas about the cats and Brandon Routh, I'm like, you know what? I should watch more like Hallmark cheesy romances. They're so fun.
And it's also on Amazon Prime for free. Watch it for free. It's there. The tree one's there too. Oh, wait, you might have to rent the tree one. The other
You have
one
to
that's good,
rent
you
the
don't.
tree run?
Yeah, the
Oh
tree one is
no.
$2. Let me read the description of the tree one. A 20-something woman goes back to her hometown for the holidays for the first time in several years, and it's not only met with people from her past, but she's forced to deal with unresolved feelings too. It's literally the same movie.
They're like, we're just gonna make it again, but with the correct sound mixing.
It's same actors too. Like I told you, it's the same actors. So I want you to go. I want you to live through this. I hope you do watch both.
I'm putting at least one of them, the one with the great
The
sound,
free one.
the free one with the good sound mixing. That's going straight on the list.
At least watch the City of the Trees trailer. That's all I ask.
I absolutely will. Well, I did not expect your list to include what I'd never heard of before my whole life, and that's why I like doing these top 5s because I'm always like, "And what?" There's always
It's like, what's
there's always a
that?
twist in there. Okay. My number 4 is the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. So that's the Griswold family.
The one where they fall off the roof.
The one where they fall off the roof. Yeah, it's like,
Okay.
Chevy Chase and
Yeah, yeah,
Beverly,
yeah, yeah.
I think Mitchell, and, they have the kids, and it's the one where he does the Christmas decorations around the house, and then when he, like,
Mm.
plugs it in, it's so bright, it, like,
Yeah,
blinds everybody in the
he
neighborhood.
falls. They like because okay, so it's about them wanting to go on vacation. Everyone calling them Grinches, right? And they're like, oh, we have to like decorate the house. Is that the same
No,
movie?
I
Is
think
that a
it's
different movie?
that might be a different one. This one is like, it's basically just their, like, sort of Christmas time. So, one of theirs was, like, the first one I think is when they try to go on vacation to, like, a theme park, and it's, like, the whole journey of them getting there. The Christmas
Hmm.
Vacation, I think, was the second one where they are just sort of at home, for the most of the movie, but, like, family comes by, and there's, like, a whole bunch of crazy things that happen, and it's like it's almost little in some ways it's like little vignettes of like crazy stuff that's happening. It's just kind of a straight comedy.
I feel
I
like
just
I've
remember
definitely seen it, but I
you
don't remember anything about it.
you've definitely seen it because there's like a couple of the iconic moments in the movie. So obviously him over decorating the house so that it's like
Mm.
blinding, and he's like fighting with it because it like it won't the lights won't turn on, and then, like, every time he's, like, by accident, like, turning on the lights and, like, blinding the neighbors. Then there's also the moment where they get in this, like, crappy Christmas tree, and, a squirrel jumps out of the Christmas tree because it had been, like, hiding in the Christmas tree, and he's, like, fighting with the squirrel.
I do
So I
remember this,
yeah, I feel
yeah.
like those are, like, the 2 big moments, like, the he over decorated everything and then the squirrel thing. But there's also, I think, a moment where he's up in the attic, like, watching old home movies, and then he steps, like, steps and, like, falls through the roof, of, like, the ceiling of the house. That's also very funny. I think you might be right that he might have fallen off the roof at one point in this movie. Basically, Chevy Chase is just, like, doing, like, a lot of physical comedy, which is a apparently what Chevy Chase only kind of wants to do.
He doesn't
But
wanna be on Community, we knew
he
that,
did
but
not wanna be on Community, that is for sure, and, allegedly is not maybe the easiest person to work with, but
allegedly.
allegedly, maybe he's great. Um, but he is very funny in all of the, National Lampoon movies, and this one is kind of no different, and I also watched it a lot when I was younger. Like, my parents really thought it was funny, and I would watch it a lot, so to me, it's kinda like one of those Christmas memories of, like, seeing that movie on.
I think I've seen it in my lifetime, so that's you
You've
got that from me.
probably at least seen scenes from it, if not the whole movie. Okay. Kat, what is your number 3?
Get ready. It's nothing
I've
about sound mixing. Um, but it's
No!
gay,
Okay.
believe it or not. It's Carol. The
Carol!
Yeah, so I like this movie. I have I have mixed feelings on Carol as a whole movie because there's a lot of parts. It's the whole movie's about longing for somebody. So it's like watching you longing for somebody. There's like it's kind of there's the pacing is it could be
Okay.
better at times.
I'm gonna make a confession, which is
Never
that
seen it, Carol?
when I was really excited to see Carol when
Oh,
it came
okay.
out. I was like, "Yes, I can't wait to see Carol." And then I didn't get to see it in theaters, and then when it came out, I was really jazzed to see it, and I fell asleep while watching Carol. It
So
is very slow.
I'm glad you could digest what I was saying, but
Yep.
that yes, there's a lot of parts that just go on forever. But there's something about the movie, especially the holiday aspect, that I think works for it. Like I like the where she works. I think is fun. The department store stuff. I think they have good chemistry. So as a Christmas movie, I very much enjoy it. But as a movie, it's not my favorite. But it's a good Christmas movie.
That is
If
true, it
someone told
does.
me put something on right now for Christmas that's on Netflix, I'd be like, let's watch Carol. And that's why it's on the
Okay.
list.
I probably wouldn't, like, defer to Carol. I'd be like, how slow do you like your movies?
If you
How
like it real
much
slow.
how much longing glances do you want in your film? Is it all longing glances? Because I got a movie for you. I actually liked Carol when I, managed to stay awake through it.
Mm,
The key is to not watch it at night, I
right.
think, or when you're sleepy or particularly comfortable. But
I
when I
don't remember
watch
when I watched it. I don't
you
remember.
you gotta watch it standing up in the middle of the
Yeah.
day. But when you do that, it is actually a good movie. I mean, both of the actresses, it's like Kate Blanchett
Mm.
and is it like Rooney
Rooney.
Mara?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they're both great. Like they're very good actresses and they've got lots of chemistries, but unfortunately a lot of the movie is just
They
like
go to dinner
longing
a lot.
sighs or like light touches on the hand and then pulling away. Like a lot
Yeah.
of that. And like, oh, cool.
It was like a first of its kind though. Like this
Yeah.
this lesbian art house films really started with Carol. I mean, obviously, if you go back, it didn't actually start with Carol,
Yeah.
but this new renaissance of all these longing movies we've been getting, like the Portrait on Fire, where nothing actually happens, but you're like, they're there, they're gay. I think really all did start with Carol.
I think you're right. And I feel like those movies get me every time because I think I'm going to be really, really into them. Like I tell myself I'm a different person than the person that I actually am, where I'm like, you're going to love this movie. It's going to be like so full of like deep meaning and longing. And then I get like 30 minutes in and I'm like, has there been dialogue yet? I can't.
No.
No,
Have you
there
ever seen
hasn't.
Have you ever seen Disobedience?
No, I actually haven't, and
I feel
funnily
like you.
enough, I
Mm.
I did think, "Oh, I wanna see that. That looks good."
We haven't fallen asleep for it yet. It has a similar vibe where there's a lot of longing, but I think
Mhm.
more things happen. One of the most famous scenes
Okay.
of that movie is the spitting scene. Someone spits during the sex scene, spits in the other person's mouth. That's
Oh,
a big
okay.
scene. So like
Great.
there's more than longing.
You're not
There's
gonna get
spitting.
bored. You're not gonna get bored with all that spitting.
Yeah.
You
So
won't
I mean
fall
something's
asleep.
happening.
Something is
Uh
happening.
but like for the first hour, there's not a lot of spitting. There's a lot of looking.
There's just a
So
lot of there's a lot of
yeah.
glances. So many glances in those movies. That's so funny. Well, Disobedience is obviously on the list now,
It's my
but
number one
I feel
for best Christmas movies. Which
it's
can we also mention it's an
Oh,
Orthodox movie about Judaism, but it's my number one Christmas movie.
I when you said when we said zig, Cat's like, "I got a zag," okay? Wow, okay. I feel like I'm way more likely to watch Looking for Her than I am
Mm.
to watch Disobedience. I'm just, like, starting to know myself, more fully, and I'm like,
I recommend both.
Morgan wants Hallmark trash. That's what Morgan wants.
I think the other one's a little easier to get through.
Probably. Okay, so that your number 3 was Carol, um,
Disobedience.
and you're and with a side of disobedience. Uh, my number 3 is Home Alone. I think
Mm,
Home Alone is a classic for a
it
reason.
is.
It's one of those movies where, like, you know how we were talking about Love Actually and is Love Actually as good as you remember it, or did you remember it, like, more rosy? Home Alone is one of those movies where, like, every couple years I'll, like, let's watch Home Alone again. And every couple years when I watch Home Alone again, I'm like, this movie really stands up. This movie is good. It's not just like nostalgic memories that I have of Home Alone. It is like actually just a really fun movie. And it's a very Christmas movie. And you get to see him do all the hijinks and like set up all the little traps and things, which is very satisfying, like paint cans falling from the ceiling. I mean, he basically killed those men like 20 times. If they weren't Looney Tunes, he would have absolutely murdered those home invaders. But I do think that it's a great Christmas movie.
I appreciate Home Alone. I don't know if it's me. Like I'm like, oh my god, I gotta go watch Home Alone
We
tonight.
gotta put on Home Alone.
It's kind of like The Grinch, where I'll only watch it once. No.
You'll watch it that one time, and then you're like, no, thank you.
I just don't. I never have a vibe where I'm like, gotta watch Home Alone.
Gotta
You
put
know,
on Home Alone.
I would watch A Christmas Story a lot just because that was on TBS a lot. And that's a movie that I think is really good, but I watched so many times that I don't want to watch it anymore.
That's fair.
Um, yeah, I'm done. It's like kind of like Full House for me, where I saw it so much as a kid that I
Oh
kind of
yeah,
want
it
to
was
vomit when I see it now.
Full House was somehow always in syndication. You're like, "How is this possible? How
And
can
it's
it
so
still be on?"
And so many people have seen it, and then, my friends, they love Full House, like, they love Full House. They'll watch it every moment of the day, they'll quote it, they know everything about it,
I
they'll
think
know,
it
like, the
depends
minor
on, like,
details.
if, like, watching something or having seen something a lot makes you nostalgic of it,
Mhm.
nostalgic for it, or sick of it. I think that's sort of like
Sick.
the dividing line, and I feel like a lot of these things I'm, like, nostalgic for, but also I don't want like, I love Saved by the Bell, but also,
Mhm.
that's probably because I remember being, like, home for a sick day, watching a full morning of Saved by the Bell. It's not because I, like, put on Saved by the Bell and, like, nod to myself and go, "Really holds up," because it's like, I don't really watch it that often, but I will say Home Alone really holds
Really
up,
holds up, so you
really holds
nod
up.
and it really holds up.
I no
I think
I do that thing to myself, I nod and I, like, take a sip of my drink, I go, "Really holds up."
yeah, I'm proud of Home Alone for that, because I honestly could see why, it's a good movie. Saved by the Bell, I agree. I think I only had memories of just, like, getting ready for school and then being on,
Because it
being
was
like,
always
"Alright."
on at, like, 6 and 7
6 to
AM
8.
for some
Yeah,
reason.
6 to
Yeah,
8, like, right when
6
you're
to
ready to
8.
go to school, it was always on. You're like, "This is the show I'm gonna watch while I eat breakfast and get changed," and, I remember thinking, "Man, I don't wanna go to school. I just wanna finish the last 5 minutes of Saved by the Bell." I was always left on a cliffhanger because I think I left
You never knew how
home.
the episode was gonna end.
Yeah, because I always left at, like, 7:55, and, 8 o'clock came rolling around. I'm like, "Well, what happened?" Like, I don't know what happened, and what happened to Zach.
What happened with
Um
Zach and Kelly?
I think I was able to figure it out. I think I was able to piece 2 and 2 together, but, yeah, no, Home Alone, I can understand why you that's not an Elf to me. Elf, I still raise an eyebrow, but Home Alone I get.
Would you be open at any point
To
in
rewatching
your life
Elf.
to watching Elf, but with the sound synced properly?
Depends if City of the Trees is on next. Really depends on what the marathon looks like.
That's true. You gotta start with City of the Trees,
Yeah.
squish Elf in there, and then you
Yeah.
end with Carol.
Yeah, so you end
Just
with Carol with a
you
little
wanna
spitting of disobedience.
you wanna, like, take it up and then take it way down.
Mhm.
Just, like,
It's a
kinda
long day. You
it's a
have to
long day.
really
Carol's gonna be at night, it's gonna just, like, soothe
you
you, and
fall asleep.
disobedience is gonna be, like, a little jarring, but then you
Yeah.
got Carol right after it.
Yeah, no, you have something to look forward to. Like, if I you know what? If I ever have trouble going to sleep, I know what to put on.
Have
I
we
do.
created the movie marathon?
I think you might have created the perfect day. Like, if you're asking what do I want my last day to be? It's really that. That's what I want my last day to be all about. And
You
instead of
gotta
sleep, I'm dead. Like,
yeah,
after
it's
Carol, they
fine.
actually killed me.
After Carol, it's over.
Yeah.
Lights out. What a beautiful Christmas, note to leave on. Okay, I
I
think
don't like Christmas movies.
I think with that note, we gotta throw it back to you, Kat, for your number 2.
The Santa Claus, a movie I genuinely do like.
Okay,
Um,
that's a good one.
that's
That's
one
one I've
I
seen.
actually that one I would actually, I think, rewatch too. Like, if someone said, "All right, Kat, it's your second last day to die. What movie do you want to watch?" I'm like, I guess the Santa Claus. I don't know why I'm wasting all my time watching
It
movies, but
seems weird to watch a genre you don't really care for on your last day,
yeah.
but listen, I'm not gonna question your choices.
I really wanted to, like, change my life before I died. Like, when
Yeah,
you're
like,
really
I'm gonna be
trying.
a Christmas movie
Yeah.
person now.
Because I'm, like, questioning life. So I'm like, maybe I really should have saw the joy of Christmas. But yeah, the Santa Claus, enjoy it. I think I like a good secret. I think I've told that. I like a
Oh,
good because
yeah.
I don't like when in real life, I hate when people lie to me. Like, all my friends know, tell me the fucking truth. I'd rather you scathe me than to lie to me. And I think that's why I love movies so much, that when someone lies but then tells the truth, I'm like, but
Ooh,
I'm the only
yeah.
one who knows. Like, as an audience member, I'm
It's
the
a
only
little
one who knows he's
secret,
Santa Claus. It's a little secret that you lie to everyone else about, but not me.
but you wouldn't lie to me, the audience.
The audience. So I like the little secret. I like that he's keeping it a secret. I like it. It feels like a superpower. I like that he's like almost superhero as Santa Claus, because he's a regular human who becomes Santa Claus later. There's a lot of roller coaster rides with his son. What's going to happen with him? I believe he's getting divorced. I don't remember, but he was getting divorced. So there's a lot
I
of
don't
drama.
remember either, yeah, but
I
it
feel
feels
like that was
right.
happening. And yeah, I just thought it was a creative way to do that story. And honestly, even the sequel was pretty solid. I remember like in the Mrs. Claus stuff. The third movie's not good. I have not tried the television shows. I stopped there, but stop with 1 and 2, and you're golden.
You haven't
Yeah, I
gotten
like it.
into deep into the Santa Claus mythology, the lore of the Santa Claus?
Because everyone knows he's Santa Claus probably at that point. So I'm out of
Probably.
this.
There's
Yeah,
no secret.
there's no
There's no
secret. I'm not in the know anymore. Everyone else knows. So
there's no
I don't
fun little secret between you and Santa Claus.
yes, and Mr. Claus. So I just, and I like that he had little magical powers. I think he had powers. Because how
He
else would he make the
did. He did.
toys?
He had,
Yeah.
like, magical Santa powers. Yeah,
Mm.
Rebecca, actually, we were talking about, Christmas movies because I mentioned what we were gonna do for our episode. Rebecca, my co-host on Supergirl Radio, and she mentioned that the Santa Claus 2 is one of her favorites,
Good.
and I realized I haven't seen it in a long time, but, Elizabeth Mitchell, who is the Mrs. Claus in that movie, is, Juliet from Lost, so, like, a big
Mm.
character on Lost. So I was like, I gotta watch the Juliet, Santa Claus movie at some point.
I feel like it probably doesn't I don't think that movie lets down. I can't
I
I
don't
can't
think so.
imagine it. No, I mean besides like yeah, Tim Allen maybe like
Tim
might let
I
you
mean,
down a
yeah,
little bit,
I feel like
but
you gotta just, like, compartmentalize Tim Allen. You just gotta put him in a little box and, like, push that over to the corner
yeah.
and just enjoy the movie.
I don't know how to feel that he thought pansexual actually meant being a pan. Like I just don't know how I feel about that. But did you ever hear that story?
What?
He went to
No?
Disney World and maybe he was like he was probably making a horrible joke, but he's like, "Oh yeah, I saw like a pansexual person, a pan person. And they didn't look like a utensil or whatever they said." It's like, okay,
Oh,
he's not a
Tim Allen.
great he's not
Ah,
great.
yes, professional comedian Tim Allen.
Yeah, yeah, he really tried on that
Just
one,
really
but
just really dropping some jokes.
yeah, it was not the greatest joke, and maybe that's why I won't watch the Santa Claus TV show. But
Like, yeah,
I
it's like,
still
nah, I don't nah.
I don't know if I wanna touch that one,
Vintage
but
Tim Allen, however, feels like, you know what? We didn't know we knew so much less about him then. It's
we did
okay.
know a lot less about, Tim Allen. I didn't know that was part of a secret, for sure.
You would have been like, "You know what? I'm fine. You can keep your secret."
I don't think I would start in the train of the Santa Claus,
No.
in that point, but
Okay, I think that takes me to my number 2, right? Because Santa Claus was your
mhm.
number 2. So my number 2 is A Christmas Story, which you actually mentioned.
You don't wanna
Yes.
vomit when you watch it.
Yes, A Christmas Story has been played too much. I will give you that. When a station plays your movie for 24 hours,
Every
doesn't
year.
matter what day it is, that's too many hours to play a single movie. With that said, it is a great movie. When I talked about Home Alone holding up, this one definitely
Has a
holds
good
up.
ending.
It
Has a
has
good
a great
ending.
ending. There's so many iconic lines from this movie. Like when people mention Christmas movies, it's like the first one that people talk about. And I think it's also a good movie about like growing up at a certain point in time. And it feels like a nice time capsule of like that time period. It feels like it's about something besides just like Christmas. It's also sort of about this like little boy growing up and his family, and I really liked it. I watched they came out with like a sequel with Ralphie all grown up. I think last year. I want to say it
It was
was
like
like on.
was it a show or a movie? 'Cause it was
It
like
was
on
a
Netflix,
movie.
right?
It was a movie. It was either on Netflix or like Amazon Prime, or it was on like one of those shows. And I watched it, and it was surprisingly good
It's your number
because
1 actually, I heard.
it's my number no, because I had low expectations. I was like, "Please just don't sully the memory of the original." And I thought it was cute. Like they were, really trying to go for something that wasn't gonna be embarrassing. But the original, I think, is unmatched. It's just so good with the leg lamp and the "you'll shoot your eye out" kid when he goes on Santa's lap, and then as he's going down the slide and he's holding on and he's saying that he wants the BB gun, and the Santa says, "You'll shoot your eye out, kid," and then like pushes him down from his face with his foot. I don't know.
In the sequel, do we see his eye out?
We don't. No, he made it. He made it with
Oh,
both eyes intact. It
that's
turns
sad.
out. And what was that was it the bunny costume that his aunt gives him that he has to
Mm.
that they force him to wear? There's just like so many moments in
It's
that
a good
movie
movie.
that are so good.
But
And
are you
yes, it is
watching it again? Because
incredibly played out.
are
Um,
you
I watched it I feel like I watched it a year or 2 ago.
okay.
That's the thing is that, like, sometimes I would put on the Christmas Story marathon in the background on, like, Christmas Day when we were doing things. So, like, technically, I probably have mostly seen A Christmas Story in, like, little 15-minute segments, it, like, completely, like,
It's
rearranged
so
from
funny.
its actual, like,
So not actually sitting down
movie.
and
So not sitting
watching
down
it.
and watching it from, like, start to finish, but, like, getting little bits of it, throughout the day. So, yeah, even though it's, overplayed, I think A Christmas Story is a classic for a reason.
I can
So
accept
that
that.
brings us to our number 1. So, Kat, I'm almost afraid to ask. What is your number 1
Eh,
Christmas movie?
it's City of the Trees. No, imagine.
Twist.
It's like, I really like that. I couldn't hear anything. No, it's actually a movie that came out this year. But
Oh,
it's
okay.
interestingly, The Holdovers. It's a new it's a Christmas movie though. So it's about the guy from Big Fat Liar. So I don't know if you've seen Big Fat Liar. Maybe that's
I
just
don't
on
think so.
go. Oh my god, now that's a nostalgic movie. As a kid, there is a few movies like I'd go to Long Island a lot because my grandparents lived there. So we had like a
Uh-huh.
2 to 3 hour drive, and we had like a little TV at the back of the car, and we had like four movies that we just rewatch over and over again. One was Max Keeble's Big Move, Big Fat Liar, and Chicken Run. And what else do we got? And Chicken Run. Those are the three I can remember. Those are the movies we all watched all
Wait,
the time.
that guy from Big Fat Liar, do you
Mm.
mean the actor Paul Giamatti?
Oh yeah, because he's just a guy from Big Fat Liar.
Storied actor Paul
Yeah,
Giamatti.
yeah, guy from Big Fat Liar.
Incredible. I don't think Paul Giamatti would ever guess that that would be how somebody
I think
describes him.
everyone who was born in 1994 would tell you, guy from Big Fat
Oh,
Liar.
that's the guy from Big Fat Liar for sure.
It's funny because I talked to like Phil, my business partner, and like his siblings. And I said, "Have you ever seen Big Fat Liar?" Like, of course, I've seen Big Fat Liar. I'm like, "Isn't that such a good movie?" It's like, of course. Like, I think everyone my generation saw Big Fat Liar. It was, oh my, it was what's his face? Frankie Muniz,
And
Amanda
Amanda
Bynes.
Bynes.
It was a classic. If you're talking classics of Christmas movies, it's Big Fat Liar. They went into this arcade and they lived there. Okay, let me tell you about Big Fat. Let me give you the premise of Big Fat
Let's
Liar.
just describe the plot of Big Fat Liar.
And I'll get the holdovers for a second. But Big Fat Liar is about this Big Fat Liar. So he
Okay.
goes into the high school of two children who come up with this story. And he's like he's becoming a failed producer. And he's like, wow, this story is really good. I'm going to steal it and make a movie out of it. They find out. They're like, we're going to Hollywood and we're going to bring down the Big Fat Liar. And they have nowhere to stay, so they stay in this like arcade place, and it's fun. There's pinball machines. They have Velcro that they like stick on the wall. There's no movie like a 2004 2005 movie.
That is very true, actually.
And there's all these hijinks, and he loves to swim every morning. And they made the pool blue, and he turns blue. I don't see Paul as a regular man. I see him as a blue man because all I remember was the dye on his face that made him blue. But Big Fat Liar, it's Shakespeare.
It sounds life-changing, and
It
I'm so
was.
sad that I've never seen this movie before.
On your last day of life, I want you to watch like
I'm
this
gonna
marathon.
get up.
Yeah, get up.
And then I'm gonna start right into Big Fat Liar.
Where are you gonna go into? You're gonna go into Max Keeble's Big Move. Then after that,
Okay.
fall asleep with Carol.
Where at what point do I watch Blast Holiday? Is that sort of in the middle?
In the intermission?
Okay.
Intermission. Yeah,
I like
yeah.
that.
That's
I like
like
that.
between Max Keeble and Carol. You're like, before I go to sleep, I need a little bit of
This-
Queen Latifah for me.
Yeah, that seems like a great lineup. So
The holdovers.
so we've established Paul Giamatti, the man most famously known from Big
Big
Fat
Fat
Liar,
Liar.
in this movie, The Holdovers.
Yeah, so he's in it. And
Great.
and he's a teacher.
Okay.
He's a teacher at this like boarding school. And I watched this when I got my wisdom tooth pulled out. So I watched it a week ago.
I also like that, like, you probably watched it, like, on a lot of, like, painkillers. Do you think
Sadly, I
any
didn't get any.
you didn't get any?
No, I didn't get any. I almost
Twist,
passed
okay.
out when I had my wisdom tooth pulled out.
I bet wait, did you do it were you awake?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
I
my
was
god.
awake.
Oh, you did tell me this, that you were
Yeah, I was awake.
wow.
I literally almost passed out. I'm not even lying on that one. I literally fell out of my seat, and thankfully my mom was there to catch me because I've almost passed out.
Oh my god. I
10
feel like you're not meant to be awake during that.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, no, I would have recommended Oblivion, like, just unconsciousness, like, just come back.
He told me I might never wake up, and I wanted to see Carol, so I was like, I need to wake up.
You're like, "Wait a minute, I've got a whole movie marathon if that's the case."
If that's the case, I haven't prepared for this yet. So
You just wheel in your own little TV to put Carol on just in case.
I should have done that, but I decided to stay awake. And about 3 hours later, I said, I'm in pain. I'm going to watch this movie called The Holdovers. I heard it was good. So I'm watching it, and it's the guy from Big Fat Liar, and he's a teacher. He's a teacher, and he works at a boarding school, like I've established. And he's mean. He's a mean teacher. He's a big fat meanie. And there's this kid who he's good at his grades, and he finds out he's not going home for Christmas. So it's the holdovers. These kids, they're left behind and they have nowhere to go. And in the background, there's also this woman who lost her son from war, and she like works as the cook there. So all the kids, you think the movie's going one direction. It's these kids, you think, oh, well, they all hate each other. It's going to be like this breakfast club. And of course, the teacher is going to be really nice in the end. The other kids end up going somewhere else, like halfway through the movie. It's just the one kid, the teacher, and the cook, and they all like kind of become friends, and they deal with each other's traumas. And again, I don't want to like spoil the movie. And it all happens during Christmas. It's happening during Christmas week because they can't go home. One doesn't really have again, I won't spoil everything, but everyone has a past of why they wouldn't go home for Christmas. And it's like about found family. It's just a really beautiful movie. It's almost as good as Big Fat Liar, but it's just squeezes by. No, I really liked it. It's honestly one of my favorite movies I saw this year. So, and it ended up being a Christmas movie too. So surprisingly enough, it worked out to be on this list.
Nice. I'm gonna have to. Looks like it's still in the theaters. Actually, did you? But you rented it at home.
You can rent it. Yeah. It's on
like Amazon.
It's on TV too.
Oh, nice.
Let me see.
I'll have to look it up because it sounds good. I mean, I loved Paul Giamatti from Big Fat Liar.
Me too. So I think, and also he does this like lazy eye thing that was really interesting. That he actually like has a lazy eye throughout the film. Like, how did he do that?
How did he do that?
I don't think they answer. They never tell us how he ends up doing it. But
Fascinating.
I think that's part of the act. And also, it's like up. It's probably gonna be up for. It's up for Golden Globes already. So made Oscars too, which is why I watched it. As I told you, I like watching all the Oscar movies, so that's why I watched it. It wasn't like, oh, I gotta watch the Holdovers because it's a Christmas movie. I watched it because I knew it was gonna be most likely nominated for an Oscar.
Nice. So, well, I mean, now that I've seen May December, which was nominated as a comedy.
Yeah, that was interesting. But it was nominated.
Not usually how I would define a comedy, but fine. Yeah, but it was nominated. So, I'm one in now, so I might as well just go all the way and watch all of them. But,
I mean, if you've seen Barbie and Oppenheimer, you're already 3 in.
I haven't seen Oppenheimer yet, actually.
You're 2 in then.
I'm 2 in. Whoops. Okay, so interesting. So another one from my list, I guess, of movies I have to see because I haven't seen The Holdovers.
You're gonna have an actual movie marathon, I think.
I'm gonna have to. I'll cap it off with Carol, like as we've established, but I'm gonna have to like watch a bunch.
Can't wait.
Okay, so my number one Christmas movie is A Muppet Christmas Carol. Now
I shouldn't be surprised.
We covered this, I think, last year
Yes.
on the podcast. So if you're interested in our in-depth thoughts on A Muppet Christmas Carol, you should go look up our podcast episode because I'm not going to get too deep into it. We spent like 45 minutes talking about it. But A Muppet Christmas Carol is a perfect movie. It has Michael Caine completely committed to his like sort of masterpiece theater sort of performance of Ebenezer Scrooge, but he is playing against all Muppets. A Muppet Kermit. Like Kermit is like Bob Cratchit, I think, and like Miss Piggy is his wife, and they have all the different Muppets doing different parts, and they've got the
Doing
Muppets
Muppet
for the Ghosts
things.
of Christmas, and it is fantastic. It's got great songs, good little musical cues. It's got, good performances, and it's actually a great telling of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. So I think maybe the definitive version. But I think it's great, and it's got Muppets in it, which is always a way to make me like something.
I like that movie, but as you know, I didn't love the movie, but I did
I
like
know,
it.
but you did like it. I think
Mhm.
we'll bring you around. Maybe you'll watch it again in 20 years.
The one
Feel
time.
different. Just the one time again.
Yeah, just the one. Again, I think on the list, the only 2 movies I'd watch again,
Mhm.
Carol,
Of course.
of course. Santa Claus and Holdovers. I think those are the 3. I just don't wanna rewatch Grinch, I don't think.
I think that's
I mean,
fair.
yeah, I don't wanna rewatch The Grinch. I'd
Okay.
rewatch Elf for You for a
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah, with the mouths actually synced up with the dialogue.
No, 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 I didn't
No, you
promise
gotta
that.
have it off. You're gonna
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah, yeah.
sorry, Netflix, it's broken. Like the words are going at the same time as the mouths. That
Maybe
shouldn't
I could,
be.
like, speed it forward a little bit, that way, like, it has the
Like
effect.
some people listen to podcasts on like
Yeah.
2 times speed. Yes,
Yeah.
that's how you watch Elf, I think, for maximum enjoyment is like 2 times speed on Elf.
I'm excited, I might do that.
I think it's a great idea. Okay, did you have any honorable mentions? I know it was hard enough to
Just the
just put the
holiday yeah, no, this was too yeah, that's it.
Mine was mine was, as I mentioned, also The Holiday. There's a movie called, Klaus that's a animated movie on Netflix that
I
my
heard about that,
sister-in-law
yeah.
recommended that we watch, and that was very good. It was, like, really well made, the animation was beautiful, really good movie. And then this one is, controversial. It almost made it onto my list, but then I was like, I don't know.
Who's gonna fight you?
I can see both sides of the equation on this one, which was Die Hard. And I know some people feel like it is not a Christmas movie, and some people are like, it is a Christmas
I'm
movie.
not gonna judge you.
And I think it is a Christmas movie, but I think the case can be made for the fact that it's also kind of not a Christmas movie. So I was focusing on things that were more Christmassy.
Mm.
But if I was
I
being
seen Die
little
Hard
bit
on
more
Christmas.
loosey-goosey, not really.
Yeah, it was fine.
Die Hard is another one where I like Muppets. I'm like, or like Home Alone, and like it holds up
Nostalgia.
really well. It's a great movie. Like
Mhm.
I thought we watched it a couple years ago, and I was like, is Die Hard as good as I remembered it? And I came out being like, yes, it is actually as good as I remember it. Die Hard is just a quality action movie. And
Surprisingly enough, I don't love action movies. You would think I do,
really,
but
I would think you
they're
would
not my
too.
favorite. Yeah,
Eh.
after I found out John Wick was my worst movie of the year, I had to really analyze that about
You're
myself.
like, do I like action movies?
Yeah,
Maybe
I
I
think
don't.
they really depends on the action movies. I don't they usually are a bit mindless, so I tend not to like
I
those.
think there has to be something in the action movie to, like, ground you to the story, or else you're just, like at a certain point, like, you're just watching, like, explosions and fights and just, like, it's just washing over you. With
I
that
think Baby
said,
Driver is a really good action
oh, Baby
movie.
Driver is a good
Mhm.
movie. I was gonna make almost the opposite point,
Oh,
which is that all the Fast and the Furious movies are amazing,
but
except
those are just
except, like,
funny.
1 except, like, 1 or 2. 1 or 2 are, like, uh,
They're
not
too
great.
good to be.
There 1 or 2 of the movies, not 1 and 2.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember which one it was, but there was definitely at least one of them that was so bad it was kinda hard to get through, but the
Mm.
rest of the when they really commit to, like, these movies don't even happen in reality anymore, they get very, very good.
I still need to do my actual Fast and Furious marathon. I think it'll
We
happen one
The
day.
funny thing is that we did it in preparation for Fast 10 coming out. We're
You
like,
didn't
"What?"
see it, right?
And then we didn't see it in the theater. So now we still have it. We watched 9 movies over, like, the course of a couple of weeks, and then we still haven't watched 10. I don't know.
I
So
think you should get on
disappointing.
10. I heard it was
I gotta
good.
get on top of that. Yeah, I'm sure it's
Yeah.
great. Like, the movies get increasingly insane as they go
There's
along.
spin-offs. There's so
So,
much.
yeah, there's the spin-off with Jason Statham now, so
I'm pretty sure there was a spin-off because they hated each other or something, like The
I
Rock and
think it was
somebody hated each
yes,
other.
I think they all kind of hate each other, like, all the guys in the Fast and Furious movies are sort of, like, low-key hate each other, which I
Yeah.
also find fun as a, like, a,
Mhm.
as a franchise is
I
when
thought you
there's,
were
like,
gonna be as, like, a fast head. Like, I thought you were gonna name
as
yourself as, like, a
oh my god, that'd be
fan.
amazing. As a fast head, I find that really fun. No, I was gonna say it's like a franchise, I always like that they're, like, if you can have some, like, petty bickering in the background, I think that's always fun.
Yeah,
You can,
no,
like,
for
read
sure.
into scenes, like, "Oh, they didn't wanna film that one together."
They hated each other.
They hate
Mad
each
Max
other.
Fury Road, great example.
Oh my god, I always forget that. That's so funny that they hated each
I
other.
don't like I think they like each other now, but they like during filming, they did not
But
like
during
each other.
filming, it was a tougher road, I think.
A
Uh,
Mad Max road, you would a
a
Fury road, you
Fury
would say.
road, if you will. Okay, so that is going to do it for our list. Now we did ask our listeners, honestly a little bit late, like today, if they would submit some of their own lists or their own top lists. So we got like one or two. So we have one from Fiona. Fiona says won't be able to join us because of the time zones. Fiona also
One
says
day we'll
I'm
make it work.
one day. Fiona also says I'm not super into Christmas movies, but I think
Me
mine
either.
would yeah, so what she has that in common. She's like, I think mine would be 5 While You Were Sleeping, which actually is a really good Christmas movie.
Never seen it.
Oh, it's like a rom-com. It's a little unhinged if you just read the description of it. It's like she has a crush on this guy, but she hasn't really talked to him, and then he like falls down and like goes into a coma, and
That sounds like a lot.
his whole family thinks that she's his girlfriend, and she like doesn't correct them,
Huh.
which is probably behavior that maybe should get you arrested. It feels
Yeah,
a
or like
little
not end up
stalkery.
together. Yeah.
No, and anyway, there's twists and turns. There's a handsome brother,
Mm.
but it happens around Christmas, so it is a Christmas movie. But it is a little bit wild when you have to like tell the plot to somebody. Number 4, Love Actually. Number 3, Iron Man 3. Yes, it's a Christmas movie. Laughing, crying emoji. I'll give her that. I think
I
Iron
don't
Man 3
remember
is a
enough about Iron Man 3 to tell you.
I remember it's the one that happens around Christmas, and I remember there's like a little boy in it, and those are my memories of Iron Man 3.
I
Number
remember
2,
someone falling out of a plane, I wanna say happened in Iron Man 3.
you could
Maybe
I
it's
mean,
Iron Man 1 or 2, who knows?
I
Maybe it's
can be
all of
con
them.
may Oh, you mean the annual somebody falls out of a plane?
Yeah.
That
Correct
always
me if
sort of
I'm wrong,
happens
Robert
right
Downey
at the
Jr.
he writes in, "Excuse me, I
That
did
only
not
happened in 2 and 3. Thank you
nobody
very
fell
much.
out of a plane in 3." Fiona says Home Alone is her number 2 and Elf is her number 1.
Mm.
So, a
You
couple
probably
of
will not
over
like hearing my thoughts on Elf.
Fiona is scandalized. A couple of overlaps on our list and a couple of movies that Kat never really saw with the
Don't
lips
say
going
that. Don't even
properly.
lie. Don't lie to my face.
I would never do that. I know how much you hate it. So Michael Lynn said, in no particular order, my top 5 are A Muppet Christmas Carol, A Christmas Carol Goes Wrong, and Home Alone 2. Sorry, I know that's only 3. What can I say? I'm not big on Christmas.
I
So I
don't think
think what
anyone
we're
is.
what we're learning is that none of our listeners also are big Christmas movie
I
people.
wonder how the views are gonna do for this.
We will find out. Listen, if they didn't listen to this episode, they missed a lot. They missed our definition of Paul Giamatti. They missed everything about Carol.
They missed the end of my life. I mean,
They missed Cat's ideal last day, which ends with Carol and maybe disobedience. Yeah, no, I think that's all of the feedback that we have.
That's
So
beautiful. I
it
think we
was
have a
very
couple of emails we have left over
did
as well.
we have emails? Let me double check. I don't
I
know that
thought.
anybody sent anything in. I think it was
Okay.
just those comments.
Okay. So we just
Uh,
had the comments, but send emails if you want. We love the emails. We'll read them and tell us what you want to see. We got plans for the next couple of episodes. We're always looking. We're always trying to figure out what to do.
we're really open. We just did the pilot pod about Lupin, the
Mhm.
French gentleman thief show. That was our Patreon supporter Michael suggested that, and we had a good time with that. So if you would like to suggest a topic for us to talk about, a movie or a TV show or music, we are always very comics. We're always very open to anything, really.
You think we
Um,
talk more about comics on this podcast, but we don't.
No, you would think that, but yeah, we really don't. So send all of that to thelegendaryladies@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter at legends_podcast. You can find us on Instagram and YouTube at the Legendary Ladies. And I believe you can find us on TikTok at I think it's Legendary Ladies Pod, but I could
Possibly.
be wrong. I'm very bad at remembering things. But anyway, we're on the social media, so make sure you follow us. We'll be talking about when we have episodes. And become a Patreon supporter because, like Danny, you can hop into the chat while we live record. Sometimes we'll bank some episodes, so you'll get recordings almost always a day in advance, but maybe up to, a week in advance. So it's really fun and it's a great way to support the show and also to interact with us while we record. Okay, so that is all of our housekeeping. Kat, where can people find you on the internet? And is there a Kickstarter afoot?
There is surprisingly in December, but yeah, at Comic Uno is the best place to find me. We have a week-long Kickstarter. It's for our Pride variant of our horror and superhero book. So if you like exclusive covers, this is the time to get it. We're only selling it at Pride events for 2024. We only have 150 of them. So after that, they're all out. That's it. So hopefully, you guys go check it out. If you don't live in the area, you're not going to Pride. This is a great way to get it.
Nice. And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Mojotastic. You can also find me as a co-host on Supergirl Radio, where we're breaking for the year end for the holidays. Of Rebecca's going on a much needed vacation. I'm around, but I just want to be eating Christmas cookies. So we will see everybody in the new year over at Supergirl Radio. But it's a great time to catch up if you need to catch up on some episodes.
I agree.
And okay, and remember to set I was gonna say set your DVRs, which
Set them up if
wow,
you
wow.
still have them.
Set your get a DVR, step 1, then set it up,
Set
step 2. But
it.
remember to watch the Hallmark original movie, which is called Friends and Family Christmas. I know, almost one of the hardest things you could possibly, name a movie to
I-
Google.
I'm
Uh
glad you wrote it down somewhere because I always just search what is the lesbian Hallmark movie and try finding it that
I
way.
still have it. There's like an out article about gay Christmas movies, and I have not minimized it because I know I'll never be able to find it again.
On
So
Autostraddle, the same thing. That's how I found out about that movie, and you knew it too. So I looked on
yeah.
Autostraddle. I'm like, all right, there it is, top of that list. I'll remember.
So it's going on Hallmark this Sunday at 8/7 Central, and
I got to
we will.
DVR it.
You gotta DVR it. Don't forget to TiVo it. And then, and then meet us back here next week where we will be discussing the movie. But I think until then, stay legendary.